Welcome to another Fix It Yourself video. Good morning and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be setting up an IKEA MALM bed. All the boxes arrived here. So we're going to be unboxing everything and we're going to set up the bed and assemble it over here and then bring it up into the bedroom. So it comes in 3 boxes plus just a loose package of looks to be the slats for supporting the mattress. So the first box is labeled box number 1. That looks to be the probably the headboard and the footboard. And then the box number 2, also part of the bed, looks to be the side rails for the bed. So these are the numbers here: 402.494.90. That's box number 2, and then box number 1 is 402.494.90, and it says 1 of 2, and this says 2 of 2. So the numbers are the same, but just that the rails are 2 of 2 and the frame is 1 of 2. So you should have these 2 boxes. That's the main. And then there's this other box here. It doesn't really have a number label on it, but obviously looks like here this is the drawers. Maybe this is optional, I guess, and it's labeled as 002.527.19, and that's for a full, double, twin, single. Okay, and then finally we have here, these are the slats that are going to be supporting the mattress. I'm going to put those on, install them, and see how well the mattress is supported. If it doesn't seem firm enough, then we may put a piece of plywood on, either 1/2 inch or 5/8 plywood, whatever we have, and that will give it additional support. Okay, so let's unbox all these and find the instruction manual for assembling all of this, and we'll go through it together, and then we'll put it all together here, and then we'll put the bed in its nice place. Okay, so we're gonna unbox the IKEA MALM bed and try to find the manual. I think it'll probably be in one of the 2 large boxes. So I've already prepared the tools that I normally have. Basically just a hammer, a flathead, screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a little box cutter, just a X-Acto knife. So I'll unbox these 2 big boxes here, put them on the floor, and when I unbox them, I just take this blade and I just go like just a little bit like that, not too much. I don't want to go too deep in, just enough to cut the cardboard, but not scratch any of the what's inside, any of the contents. So let's get to that now, and we'll open this up. Okay, so I've got the manual here, and I'm just going to open up the manual and let's see what they tell us. So this is pretty typical. So this is telling us that you only need a Phillips head screwdriver and a hammer. So here's all the parts that came with it. This is showing you all the parts come in a bag like this, and here's all the parts. We should go through it. I mean, I've already done that in the prior videos, and what I found is IKEA is usually pretty good. They don't miss any parts. They count them pretty good. So you can much be sure that you'll have 3 of these long dowels, 12 of these shorter dowels, 16 of these screws here, fasteners, 4 of these fasteners, 5 of those, 4 of those, 3 of these nuts, 8 of these These probably hold the pieces together with the turn fasteners. Like this one is a turn fastener that goes into this, and this is another type of fastener. So you have the numbers here and the quantities. I'm not going to count them all. As I say, I'm pretty sure they're all there. But each of these little numbers here that you see, all these little numbers, those are identifiers. So as we go through the manual, it will tell you these numbers when it calls for a particular fastener. So you find the number, and then you can just sort of make sure that the number that's on the page where they're referencing a fastener, come back to this page number 3 here, page number 3, to find the fastener you want, and then you should be able to locate them. Okay, you can kind of just take all the fasteners out and then spread them out. That'd probably be easier if you spread them out somewhere, 3 of these, 12 of those, and just kind of get them all organized. Okay, now the next page. So what they tell us to do basically now is to lay out the 3 large pieces, which I've got sort of back in there. You see I've laid them up there. Lay them up. I'm going to lay them out exactly as they're shown here, and then they're telling us they want us to install these fasteners here. They don't want you to push it in too hard that you will indent it. So basically they just want you to put these fasteners in, and once you lay these out in this arrangement. Okay, so one thing I should point out, I've laid these all out now exactly in that order. You see I've got that one piece like that. I got the other piece with the holes in the top, the big ones, and then the bigger piece. Now the one thing I should point out here is, if you look carefully here, that piece, it looks like it could go either way, but you got to be careful, because right over here, you see there's a large hole on the right and a small on the left, a large hole on the right and a small on the left, then a small hole on the right and a large hole on the left. You have to flip this around so that it's in exactly this arrangement. Otherwise what will happen is you'll probably end up, messing this up. And the same thing with this. This looks like it's okay, and this looks like it's okay. So they don't really show, exactly where to put this on. And I just checked, and there are no like pilot holes or anything like that. So you're gonna have to just kind of tap these plasticky things in. And you know what? I'm thinking I might just do away with these plasticky things. I'm not gonna bother with them. What I'm gonna do instead is just put a nice big piece of felt across the bottom of those, because I would probably put the felt on the plasticky things anyways. So I'm gonna just kind of skip that step, and I'm not gonna use those plastic feet there. What I'm gonna do is like I said, I'm gonna buy the felt. You can buy nice felt in big pads, and then you cut them to suit. And what I'll end up doing is I'll put a nice big wide piece of felt that covers a good 4 or 5 inches on either side, and that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I don't know if you want to do it like the way they show it, you can, but I'd probably recommend using the felt, and that would protect both your furniture and also your floor, and make it a lot easier. So I'm gonna do away with that step. I'm gonna immediately jump to this step, which is showing us that the way these 2 things are configured, like this and that, we need to put these pieces in there, and these are the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 1. You got to find that fastener, and we got to do 8 times this. So 2 here, 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. So let's get to that. Okay, let's do that now. Okay, so I've got my 8 fasteners here, and these are the fasteners. That's what they look like. And I've got the tool that they tell you to use to put that in. And I'll probably just put that in there on those exact locations. Okay, so let's get to that now. Okay, so I want to do 2 of these just to show you how they go in, okay? So you got to make sure that you get these nice and straight, because if you go a little wobbly, you'll probably screw it in one way or another, and you're going to make this kind of break at the top. So the trick is to try to try to get it in as straight as you can. Get it started, and then put this tool on. Put a little pressure on the top and just turn it. Just keep that pressure on the top as straight as possible, and try to turn this and try to get that going as straight as possible. And then you see it is going to like kind of break a little bit at the top, but when you get to that, it'll just, like you see here, they tell you just to get it right to the top surface. Don't keep screwing it in and pushing it too far in. That's what that means with that indent there. So I'm just going to keep turning this guy around until we get that right to the bottom. You can see that there. And once we get near the bottom, that's when you'll kind of just slow it down a little bit, and you'll see it kind of ripping the edges a little bit of the surface. There. Once you've got that, that's good enough, I think. So hopefully we line that up correctly, and according to this, it looks to me like they want the flat edge parallel with the two holes. One hole here, and they want your flat edges parallel with the holes. So maybe I'll turn that just a bit, just to get that parallel. So what I've done there, you see there's my flat edge. I want my flat edge here to be parallel with the holes. That flat edge parallel with the holes. I don't know if that means anything. It could be, maybe when you're putting in those turn fasteners that might do something, but maybe not. But I try to follow this as close as possible. Maybe it doesn't mean anything, it's just the way it's drawn there so they can show you. But in that case, I'm going to do that one that way, and I'll do the same thing on this side here, just to make sure. Okay, that's it. And then we'll put one more over here, get this one started. Same thing, we'll do it again. We'll put the tool on it, try to get that as straight as possible. And then just start turning it, try to keep it straight with my thumb. A little bit of pressure, and try keeping it straight, and then just keep it turning, okay? So that's pretty much it. So I'll just finish that up, and all the other four on the other piece, the other four on this piece will go like here and here, and the same thing. So leave the big hole. The big hole is where the dowels are going to go, okay? In the remaining pieces are going to have a dowel, and that's where that's going to go. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be the rails, the two side rails of the bed. Again, I go into this. Okay, so you see once you get that going, and once it's in nice, you can kind of speed it up by just going like that. Get it to near the bottom, and nice and flush, and that's good right there. Okay, so I've done those first four. Now I'm going to do these other four over here. Okay. Okay, so now that we've finished step number 2, we're going to move on to step number 3. And they tell you to use the short dowels, not the long ones. So we're going to find the short dowels, and we're going to put them, these are the number 101359, and we're going to put them onto the rails here, just like the way they're shown here. So these are the side rails. We're going to put those units up here, one like that, and the other one up like that. And then we're going to put the dowels into the rails, just like where they show. One dowel into the middle of these 3 holes, and these 2 into those 2 holes, okay? And we'll do the same thing on all 4 sides. This side, this side, and that side. Okay, it's going to be all identical, all like that. And then I guess we have to push those front and side pieces together. Push them in like that. We'll get the next page and see what it shows us. And then after that, I guess that's where we need to use those the turn fasteners, and they show a little arrow over here, but we'll get to that shortly. So let's first assemble those pieces together the way they're showing like that, and to put those turn fasteners in there into those holes. Okay, we'll find the rail that has the holes there with the turn fasteners. We'll put them in, and you can see those are labeled number 114670, and it shows there's a little arrow there that points, and that has to point in that direction. Okay, so let's get to that. Let's put that together then and see how it works. Okay, so basically we take one rail here, and the rails have like a side where it has the large holes on both sides. You see 2 holes on this side, 2 holes on that side. Those got to go on the inside of each side here. All I did was I took those 2 pieces and raised them up exactly the way they were. I raised them up so the large holes are on the top and the fasteners are on the top on both sides. And then they're basically going to line up like that, and like that. Okay? This is where you're going to probably need a helper, where it would be easier to just make sure you have a helper to assemble both sides, one side and the other side. Okay? Because otherwise you could damage the unit. So I've got, on each side, I've got myself 3 of the short dowels, and basically we're just going to pop them in the way they showed. One in the center here, and that's where your 2 fasteners go in here to those 2 holes. And in the top, that's it, like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. I've got my 3 fasteners lined up over here on this side, 2 at the top, in the center. Same thing on this one. 2 at the top. 1 in the center. And over on this side. Okay, so you see here, put 2 at the top. 1 in the center. This guy lines up like this, so that this dowel goes inside the top hole, the middle hole there, and the 2 fasteners go into there, and these 2 top holes line up in there. So looking at this side, you see the middle dowel here goes in there, 2 fastener holes go inside the holes there where the turn screws are going to attach, and then those 2 holes go up at the top. So this is where I'm going to get a helper here. You can see if I can find someone to help me. Okay, as it turns out, I have nobody here in the house right now to help me, so I'm going to manage this on my own. I think I can probably do this, and some of you might be in the same predicament as me, where you won't have a helper. And so what I suggest is, let's try doing it this way. I'll take this guy like this, like that. I'll put this side down, and this might be a way we can do it without a helper, okay? So what we'll do then is raise this up like that. There's 2 holes here, two dowels that are going to go in these 2 holes. 1 dowel is going to go in that hole. So we're going to line this all up, and hopefully that goes good. You see here. Try to get that on nice. Slip that in. It's going. Okay, so I've got that side on. So without a helper, I think you have to do it like this. So I'll do one side at a time. And what they're telling us to do now is to take these 2 turn fasteners, and remember what they say here about the positioning of the arrow in relation to where it goes. So the arrow is pointing at the end of the end of this long piece. So in this case, I see an arrow over here, so I want to point my arrow down towards the end of this piece. My arrow is here, and that arrow has to be pointing down. So I have to get that in there. And then you sort of need to get that. There's this Allen key here. This guy here. This is the Allen key that comes with it. So we'll take this, and we're going to turn it. I'm going to turn this all right around so you can see it. Carefully. So essentially, here's where they show you this piece here, you see? And they want you to take this arrow which is pointing there is pointing towards the end here. So there's the arrow. Put it down like that so that it goes in, I guess. It's got to slip in that way. I'd say you got to be slightly to the right of it. Probably. How is this going to work? I guess this won't work unless you... I think I see a problem here. So the problem is this. You won't get this off. Okay, before, that's why they tell you, oh, I see it here. Let's take a close look at this and see. So I'm going to show you what the issue is. This is the problem, and if you don't do this right, you won't get it in. So what they're saying is you have to put these guys in here with these arrows pointing in that direction. So you see how it's got the arrow right there? That's the arrow he's pointing to here. You see that arrow? So that's like that. That's the arrow. It's got to be put into the hole like that, facing the end of the long piece. But before you fasten it all the way in, like I did down there, you cannot put it all the way in, because if you do, then these things are going to protrude too far in, and they won't get passed into here. So the idea is that fastener, that part of the fastener with the little smaller diameter piece and the larger diameter on either end, has to slip in here, and then that smaller diameter has to come into this little groove here. You see the groove? That's the groove. So that's why they tell you where the arrow is. I would go a little bit this way, the arrow, and then turn it so you can get it inside. See, it catches nice. So that's what we got to do. So I'm going to pull that thing up, and then we'll put both of these in the right direction, and then hopefully slip them down. So this might be a little tricky, but bear with me now as I do this. So I'm going to get these lined up here, get them ready, and I have to kind of jiggle this back up a bit. Hope I don't damage it in the process. Just till I can barely see those two fasteners there, you see? So now I can see that they're up outside. Stick that in there like that. Okay, just like that. Slightly. I got my arrow down and just slightly that way, so that I can catch them both. So then once I get those in, yeah, I see. So now it's like sucking it in. As you turn these, if you got it in right, it'll turn and suck it in. You see, it's now pulling it in. This is the tricky part. So I got it right there. Sucking it in. Now you feel it tightening up. And you feel this, I feel this side tightening up. Perfect. Okay, so that's the kind of secret. You got to push this guy so that it's almost all the way to the bottom. Not quite to the bottom, but almost, because if it is at the bottom, it'll probably won't catch that latch. Okay? But you'll know, once you start turning it and you feel it catch, you'll feel it pull this whole assembly down. There, and now I just tighten it up, give it a good tighten, not too tight, just enough that I can be sure that it's not going to come loose. There we go. So I've got the one side done. Now I'll flip this guy around, do the other side. So now the way this was like that. That side's got to go into there. So get these other two pieces, get my tool. We'll do this other side now. So the two dowels at the top here are going to go in those two holes. The one in the middle is going to go in there, and these two fasteners are going to go in there, but I'm not going to go all the way in, remember? I don't want these two fasteners, these two metal fasteners going all the way through and into that hole, because then you won't be able to slip these in. The whole idea is you got to get these lined up here like that, down and slightly counterclockwise a bit. So like at about 11 o'clock. Almost all the way in, down, almost like at if that's 12 o'clock and that's 11 o'clock. So right about there, line up all this, get that lined up, Get that going almost as far as it can go, and then turn this. You should feel it pulling it down. There, you see? See how I felt it pulling it down? You got to do a bit on that side and a bit on that side. See how I pulled this side now? A bit on that side and a bit on this side. Now I'll go a little bit more on that side. Oh, look at that. It's pulling it back this way. Nice. So it is catching, and now it's catching that side. And now I can feel it really tightening. That's really good. That's what I want to see. So once you got both sides nice and tight, there you go. Get that nice and tight. And that's it. I've got this side done. So now I guess what we can do is just carefully bring that like that and bring this over. And just kind of slide this like this. And we'll have to do sort of both of these sides at the same time. I'll get those fasteners. This might be the tricky part. I'm going to just readjust the camera here. Okay, so I've readjusted the camera so we can see this angle. And what I've done here is I moved the slats that come with the bed. These are the slats that are going to hold the mattress, I guess, across here. You're going to lay these out. I'm going to try to use this because I don't have a helper here. I'm going to try to use this to support one side of my rail, maybe this side. Let's go this side while I work on that side, okay? So what I'm going to do is raise this up, try to line this up here so I can rest this side on here. So I'm not putting too much pressure on that one joint there. And then as I get this guy lined up here, I should be able to pop that in. So before those two metal fasteners come all the way through the holes, I'm going to line these up again. Look for the arrow. There's the arrow. Put it in like that. That's going to be 12 o'clock, so I want it to go down a tiny little bit that way. Yeah, it seemed to cut a little bit. Get the bottom in. Catch that side. Yeah, it's catched. So now when it catches, you'll see it'll suck it in. You can actually see it sucking in here. Pulls it right in. So pull the bottom in. A little bit the top. Keep going like that. Yeah, you see that sucking right in? As you turn this screw, it pulls it right in. So a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom here. Don't try to do too much on one side. It's a little bit each, okay? And then eventually, once you're tight, then you can tighten up both sides and that'll be it. So that's it. I've got 3 sides in. I just got to do that last side there. So that was quite helpful to use this as a, as a support here. Now I can take the support out. I can take the support out, lay it down here, and then line this up. Just be careful not to pull it too hard. Put it in a little bit of the ways, and then here's where you got to look again. Find the arrow's right there. I point it that way. If that's 12 o'clock, then I go to about 11 o'clock, put it all the way in, find the arrow, there's the arrow, put it in. If that's 12 o'clock, I go a little bit towards 11 o'clock, put it all the way in, and then bang it in here. This is hurting my hand. So it's not catching right now, so you can find the arrow. Okay. So I'm going to get a rubber mallet just to make this easier because it's hurting my hand. And if it's hurting my hand, it'll probably hurt your hand. So let me get a rubber mallet. Okay, so I got the rubber mallet, and I'm going to use a piece of cardboard that all the screws and fasteners came in. I'm going to hold this side with my legs and try to whack this. See how nice that works? Don't bang it too hard, because remember, it'll only go so far once it hits these fasteners. So now I'm going to turn these fasteners, and I can feel it sucking it in right now. Again, count clockwise. So you turn it clockwise. So that one's pulling in. That's good. So that one pulling in. A bit at a time. A little bit this one, a little bit that one. So pull this one in as far as you can go. And then do the top one. And feel it sucking it in. There we go. And then do the bottom one here. That's it. That's all the way in. And now the top one. That's it. Both of them are in nice and tight. Got this one in tight. Got this one in tight. So all 4 sides now are done according to the instructions. And let's just see now what's the next step. And move on from there. So we've just done the step 4. We've put all 4 sides in. Remember, you got to put it in part way. Like this, you go part way and you got to turn clockwise like I said. You put it in part way enough that the fastener here, this is the fastener, has got to get not all the way in. It can't go past that opening because you got to get these things in, okay? So you got to slide these guys in and then try to push it all the way in as far as it'll go. And then a little bit at a time, one at a time, you get that in. So we've just done all this nice. Now they're telling us to put, we've got this set up exactly the way it's shown here. Now we're going to put 1, 2, 3 of the dowel number 101367. That's 101367. So if we go back to our very first page, 101367, that's 3 times, that's the large ones. So we're going to get those large ones, put them in there, and I guess that's what's going to hold our headboard, okay? So let's do that now. After that, they're telling us to put these metal fasteners here, this type, and they want you to put them into these other holes, and then that lines up and goes into the other ones, okay? So we'll do that now. Down in there. Down there, and you can't go wrong because it won't fit in here. So now we've got to put our fasteners into this guy, okay? We're going to turn this guy around. Let's see what the instructions say next. So now that we've put all this in like that, flip the page, and it's telling us to put this kind of little doohickey here. So I'll go find that piece, and then you just thread that part on. So that shouldn't be too hard. So basically, you use these pieces here. So what they're telling you to do is to slide these guys over the thread that comes out, and then put these nuts on, okay? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to lift up this piece and make sure you've got this orientation correct, okay? So I think when I put this on, it was the other way around. So we need to make sure that we have this orientation correct so that this fastener lines up with that hole on the right side, and this hole lines up with the dowel. This hole lines up with the dowel, and this is on the right side. And then over here, you got this metal fastener lining up with this hole, and the dowel lining up with that. So then, once you have that correct, you're going to just lift that up, and put that right in like that. Line up all the holes, and hopefully this slips in okay. Should slip in okay. And if everything goes good, and I see all the fasteners coming through okay, and I'm just going to lightly tap. Be careful, because this is very delicate and you can damage this, okay? There we go. So that's good. Now, these fasteners here, the way they're located. It's got a little U shape and a little rounded part. So the rounded part's got to go in the U shape and go as far as you can to the top. And then you put the screw, the nut on the bottom here. So I'm going to line the nut on. Well, I'll just put the nut on first a little bit, see if that goes. Just to get it going. Probably easier to put the nut on first a little bit. Yeah, it is easier to put the nut on a little bit. So try to do that. And then use this part of the tool. Not this side, but that side. And then just slowly work the nut on until it gets tight. Instead of banging it, you probably could pull it in, but I would rather tap it very gently. Tap it very gently, just be careful because, as I said, this is very delicate. Because if you try to pull it in with the screws, you might pull the screw out of there and then you'll rip. Because this stuff material is very cheap, you know, it's not very, it's not solid wood. This is sort of particle board, I call it. Okay, and then just kind of do this until it's fairly tight. Tight enough that it doesn't wobble. See? It becomes like almost one piece. Okay, so we'll do the same thing over here. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to go too crazy with this. That's it. Okay, so I've tightened that up. Now, let's look at the instructions and see what they tell us to do next. So basically, they're saying we need to, where are we here? Yeah, we've done all that. We put this in, slip that over, and tighten up the nuts. Now they want us to figure out, looks like this is telling us that we got to put the mattress in. Of course, to put the mattress, we need something to hold all those slats down there, you see. These are these slats over here that come with it. All those slats got to go in some rail. That's what those metal rails, I guess, are for. So we'll put those metal rails in. And we'll find those now, and then we'll figure out what fasteners have to go in there. Okay, so let me go get the rails and the fasteners. What they're telling us here is they're giving us 16 of these 110789 fasteners. 16 of those are going to go in place there, and they go in like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and probably 1, 2 at the ends. Okay, so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 on each side. Yeah, and that'll hold that. So that looks pretty straightforward. So why don't we see if we can't try to do that. And then we got a couple of little, looks like these are sway braces. This is just some bracing. These two pieces to brace the whole bed so it can't twist this way and that way. Okay. And then what they're showing us here is how to unroll the slats and put them in there. Yeah, so we're getting close to the end here. And so far we've spent about half an hour. Probably should go a lot quicker though. But anyway, let's get to it. We'll find those rails and we'll put them in. Okay, so I've got the rail here. Take a knife and cut this open. One side goes on here, one side goes on there, on here like that. Now let's go find our fasteners that they tell us that we're going to need. Okay, so here are the fasteners they want us to use. And essentially you just take a Phillips head screwdriver and you turn those in there just like they showed us in the picture. Okay, so we'll do this side right now. So So you got to find the side that has, so we're going to do 16, right? We're going to do 2 on this side, 2 on that side, that's 4. And then another 4 in the middle here, so that makes 8 on this side. Okay, so now we put those metal rails inside that are going to hold the slats for supporting the mattress. Now we're going to do the cross bracing here. So basically those are the pieces that came like this. They're showing us here, number 9, that these things kind of slide in and out. That's this like this. See how that kind of slides in and out like that? So this kind of slides so that you can you know, make it to the right length. And then once you find the right length, you're going to get one of these holes in the middle here and put one of the screws to hold this so that it doesn't move once you've got the right spot in the right location. You'll know when you've got that because once you've assembled this like that, you'll put 1 screw here, you'll put 2 screws on the ends, and then you'll put the 2 screws in the middle that keep these sliding things from sliding again. Okay, so that's what they show you here. 1 screw holds these 2 ends, 1 screw holds those other ends, and then after that we put the middle screws in. Okay, so let's do that, and then we'll continue on to the next step, which is rolling out the slats, I guess. I don't know what that is here. We'll have to figure out what this. Oh, I see. Once you put the slats in, then you can put this little fastener in. We'll go find that. It's like a piece of plastic. It's labeled 102267, and then this one's labeled 105163. Okay, so just one other thing I wanted to point out. So you see when they show these bracing pieces here, is they kind of show it in a not so great detail here, but they show a little bit better detail here, where they show a flat side here and they show a bit of the you know, it's kind of tapering out. So that means the whole side, the whole top here is going to be flat. And then when you look at the detail here, which is this one, this is the flat side, you see? And then the thing rolls over on the both sides. So what that means is when you're looking at this, you see, this is the side and it's tapering like that. So this is your whole flat side. And then this tapered side that comes over, that's going to go toward the ground. And the reason for that is this flat sides line up with the underside of the flat on the rails, and then here at the end, wherever this ends up, you can put a screw here, and the screw goes down and through here and it holds onto this so that it can't slide back and forth. Okay, so let's put that all together now. I've got the one piece over there and I've got this piece over here, and we'll line this up. Then you take your 2 remaining screws here and you find one of these holes. I'm going to go with this one here and just pop that guy on and get it through. Again, it's a little bit hard at the beginning because you got to make the thread on the hole. And once you get it in, then you're basically tightening this up between the two. You're clamping it down hard. Again, finger tight. And that's it. This thing won't pull back and forth anymore. Okay, so I've got this all, the brace all in. Now it's time to do the slats. So let's see what they tell us with the slats. So basically now with the slats, you're just gonna end up cutting what's holding it together there. And we got the slats here. We didn't get this kind of thing, which just shows it going in, and you don't use those if you have a box. But here we got the slats, so just gonna cut it, unroll it like that. It says go to page 12, and here you can see that this little things here, I'm gonna find those pieces. Okay, they come loose, but I kind of put the screws inside of that little plasticky thing. So essentially what they're showing us here is right over here, you see you put the slats down, and then between the slats near the two ends, they want you to put this down. You slip that through there, then the slat goes over it, and I guess this holds the whole slat down. I don't know, keeps it from popping up, I guess. Let's go to page 12, see what they tell us, because they are telling us to go to page 12. So they show us here 4 of these. You put these guys in like that, and then the slats go right over. That's it. And then we'll move on to the there's a manual, I guess, in the box for assembling each of the drawers that go slide underneath the bed. And that'll be the next step, which is that box that we have over there on the left. That's the final box, and the slats are over there. So let's put the slats in. Let's put these pieces in that they show us over here. These last few pieces here, these 4 fasteners, and we'll get them into the corners. Okay, it looks like it's the one right near the end there. Let's do that right now. Get that over there. Find my screwdriver. So that's, yeah, there's only one hole over here. So you put the screw there. Okay, so these are our slats, and these should come right off. Pretty straightforward, I guess, or maybe cut them. And there's those plastic things here. That's 1, 2. Let's figure out how these guys work. Take a look at the instructions again. Yeah, so you'll notice that there's a bit of a curve in those slats. And I think what they want you to do is they want the curves to go up like that, concave like that, so when you put the weight on it, it goes flat, okay? So we'll put that guy there, that guy there, and that guy there. Looks like that's what those little things are for. You put one on that side and one on this side, and that kind of gives you the end. And you can't go too far this way because these things, yeah, I think that's what these things are for. So the 2 ends will go on either side of those 2 little things. And then if you try to pull it this way, you see, you can't go because that's holding it from going that way, and those 2 are holding those from going this way. So in the end, they sort of stay in their rightful position. So that's it. We've got the bed all more or less done. And then the only thing left to do is open up this box, assemble the drawers so that we can slip the drawers on either side of the bed. depending on whether your bed is up against the wall and you want to go on this side, or on the other wall and you want to go on the other side. I think it's universal in that regard. So let's have a look then at the opening up the next box, which is the drawers. That's these drawers over here. That's another box. So we'll open it up and find those instructions and figure out how to assemble those, and I think the bed's all done. Okay, before we set up the drawers, I want to get the bed out of the way so I can set up the drawers. So I brought here, I couldn't find a flat felt, so I'm just going to use these round ones. I've already measured them, and they fit very nice on like just on the sides of these pretty wide pieces of wood. So I'm going to put like 4 on each side, you know, kind of spread them out. So I'll lift the bed over on one side and we'll put these on now. Just slip this over here. Try to flip the bed over like this while we have it here on the carpet. And like that. And then we'll put the felts all on this, okay? Then we can move the bed out of the way. Actually, probably will bring it up into the bedroom and get it set up. Okay, so just scissors, cut these all up, and put these onto the bed like this. So what I'll do is I'll put one like close to the end here like this, just like that. I'll measure it up so that they're the same. So close to, like, you know, one of these on that side. Then measure that down here. So I'll use that as a guide, one of those diameters in. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Take one piece here. I'll use this as a guide. Put that on like that. And I just get that lined up there and put this piece on here like that. We'll do the same thing on that side. Bottom. So I'll put this to measure, and I'll put this side on. There, see? So now pretty much they're all the same distance. So then here I'll kind of measure the distance between here, and I'll try to put those other two equal distance. So then there's support like pretty much all the way through equal distance. So I'll get a measuring tape and we'll figure out what that spacing should be. And since we're installing IKEA furniture, I've got my IKEA tape measure here. So from center to center here, looks like we got about 100 centimeters. So basically we have 1, 2, 3 spaces in between. So that'll be 33 centimeters between. So 33 centimeters between the centers. So I'll just go from the center here, center there, 33 centimeters is right about there. So I'll pop that on right about there. And then I'll get the next one at 66 centimeters. And that should do it here. So there, 33. Center there, 33. This should be at 66, which is right about there. And more or less. Yeah, that looks good. More or less. Okay, so we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll flip the bed over, and then bring the bed out of the way here, probably bring it straight upstairs. Okay, so I'll get a helper when I get a chance, and we'll move the bed out of the way, and then we can start setting up the drawers, okay? Okay, so we've set up the bed here, nice, in its spot, and that's the IKEA MALM bed, the IKEA MALM desk, and the IKEA MALM dresser, which we did before. So we have all 3 pieces here now: dresser, desk, and bed. We'll put the slats back in there, and then we'll put the mattress in and it'll be all set to go except for the drawers, which we are going to assemble next. Okay, so now that we set up the bed upstairs in the bedroom, next step is to take the drawers and get this box opened up. So the parts I'll show later. The manual says same thing. All we need is a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver. It says you should use a helper, but again, I'm managed without a helper. Again, you do this on the carpet, which is what we're doing. Call IKEA if you got any trouble, or watch this video. And then here's all the parts. You got 8 of these wooden dowels, 16 of these metal. You screw these in with the turn fasteners, 18 of these type fasteners, a tool, and looks like a wheel, 16 of these little guys to hold the wheels. And the wheels allow you to slide these drawers on the floor right underneath the bed. So first thing they tell us to do is step number 1, item number 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 2, 4 of them, and we're going to put them in there. Okay, so let's do that. Let's find them and put them in. So I got my pieces here. I need 4 per door cover. So we're going to do all of both of those. Okay, so let's do that now. Okay, so this will go much like all the other ones. I'm going to make some room here. These fasteners going like all the other ones. So essentially you want to be careful when you're putting these in. You want to go as straight as possible when you're putting them in. Okay, so each of the drawers has, you can see down there, each of the drawers has 1 long side and 2 short sides. So this is the bottom of the drawer. This is the long side that matches the front, which will be the back. So that's the front of the drawer. This is the back of the drawer, and these 2 are the sides that go on either side here. So over here you'll see there are 2 holes here. Those fasteners will go inside those holes, and then here you're going to put in a dowel which matches inside that hole. So that will be the 2 sides. This will be the bottom. So let's take a look at this again. So you see here, these are the 2 short sides. Again, they're going to be a dowel on here. The 2 fasteners go into those holes. The dowel goes into the hole over there. And once you put them in, this is what they're telling you, to put the dowels in the center onto those pieces, those short pieces. And there's only one size of dowel here, so it should be pretty straightforward. And then you just put those turn fasteners in and turn it clockwise, okay? So let's pop those guys in. You're going to need to put 4 of those onto the long piece. So that long piece that's down there, you're going to need to put 4 of those turn screws in there so you can put that onto the back after. So pretty much straightforward. So let's try to do this all in one straight shot. We're going to do all the steps from step number here 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to do that all in one shot now, okay? So now that we've assembled pretty much the outside of the drawers, we just need to put the bottom of the drawer. So that's the step number 8. So one thing you got to be mindful of is that piece that you see on the floor there. It's got all these holes on it for these screws. These are the larger holes. But on one side of that, there are smaller holes. You just see them very slightly here, like smaller holes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Those smaller holes are going to be for the wheels. Those are the pilot holes for screwing in your wheels. So you got to make sure that the side of the board that has those little holes is going to be facing the bottom of the drawer. So you can tell where the top of the drawer is. It's on that side because that's the higher side of the top of the drawer. See, and that's the lower side. And the bottom goes on there, and that's the part that's going to go where the wheels are. Okay, so let's slip that on like that. We'll turn the drawer over like that. We'll slip it over the way they show. We'll put those fasteners in, and we'll make sure that we can see that they're visible, all those little holes. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is, the visible holes are right here and here. I'm going to just raise this up. I'm going to tilt this over like this carefully, and then I'm going to pop this guy in. Now the other thing is, there's a rough side and there's a smooth side. You see? So the rough side should go into the slot, and the smooth side should be at the back. And the rough side should go right into the slot, slide right in there. And just put it in there. There we go. Now I'm just going to try to turn this over so that, and then we're going to get all of our fasteners. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 9. So 3, 6, 9 fasteners, and then again you will need your little tool here. So let's see if I can't turn this guy around. So there you can see, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the little holes are here. These are the pilot holes for these wheels. So when you put the wheels down, you'll be able to find the pilot holes and put them in. Okay, so this is the little tool they give you for fastening these. Get this all lined up. Find the hole there. You'll be able to find the hole, no problem there. And just turn that right in. Once you get the first one in, line it up. Put it in part way. Come over here on the other side and try to get the other hole, one of the other holes lined up. And then it should go pretty smooth. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest of these in time lapse to go faster. Alright, so let's just do the rest of this and then we'll put the wheels on. So the last thing I did there, you saw, was put the wheels on. And with the wheels there, they're asking you to use screw number 123502 That's 2 per wheel, so you need a total of 8 for one of the drawers. So we've now completed that whole drawer assembly. I'll move that out of the way, and then I'll do the last one, and that's it. And the bed is ready to go. Okay, so there you have it. Both of the drawers are done. And I'll bring these upstairs. A couple of dowels left over. And that's about it. Clean up. Bring the drawers upstairs and put them assembled with the bed. So let's go do that now. Okay, so the first drawer, slide it underneath. Raise it up a bit, slide over. That's it. Second drawer. And there you have it. It's all set up and ready to go. Thank you for watching. Hope you find this video helpful when you're assembling your bed or your desk or your MALM dresser. Either one, there's a video for it. Okay, so there you have it. The MALM bed is now complete, along with the MALM nightstand, the MALM desk, and the MALM dresser. Those are on separate videos. If you need to assemble a MALM dresser, you can find a video for that. There's a link here, and the MALM desk also assembled in another video, and the bed. So thank you for watching. I hope you find these all helpful, and keep on fixing things yourself. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and click the like button if you like this video. Thank you for watching.